Well, see this movie clip. In this movie, a cycling race is going on between two colleges. In this competition, one of the cyclists did a trick in order to win the race. Well, he did not do any magic trick, rather, he changed a switch on his cycle handle. So, after changing that switch, he moved much faster and eventually he won the race. So, what did he exactly do in order to win the race? Well, let's try to understand this. First, let me tell you how a racing bicycle differs from the normal bicycle that you and me use. Well, in a racing bicycle, there is an extra set of gears present in the rear wheel. So, in a bicycle, this is the crank wheel where the pedals are connected. So, this is the crank wheel. In the crank wheel, the pedals are connected and see there's a gear present on the pedaling system. See, it's a circular wheel with teeth around its rim. This is connected with the help of a chain to the rear wheel and this is known as the free wheel. In a racing bicycle, in the free wheel, there's a gear system of more than 2 or more gears. See, this is one, this is another. So, one gear wheel has a bigger radius, whereas the other one has a smaller radius. So, this is how a racing bicycle differs. And also in a racing bicycle, there is a switch present on the handles which help the cyclist to change the arrangement of this chain from the bigger gear to the smaller gear. So, initially you saw in the movie clip, two cyclists were racing with each other. Both of them were riding their bicycles more or less at the same speed. So, basically what was happening, the chain of the bicycle was connected to the gear of the bigger wheel, see here, and the switch, that is the gear switch, was placed at the first position. So, both the cyclists were riding their bicycle with the first gear position. Now, in order to win the race, one of the cyclists changed the gear from the first position to the second position. As a result of which, the chain arrangement got shifted from the bigger wheel to the smaller wheel in the free wheel. See again. When he changes switch from the first gear to the second gear, the chain gets shifted onto the gear wheel of a smaller radius and he moves forward and he won the race. So let us recapitulate what exactly are gear wheels. Well, gears are a combination of wheel with varying diameters like a bigger radius and a smaller radius, and they are composed of teeth of equal sizes cut around their rim. And the rotatory motion of one gear wheel is transferred to the other wheel, and as a result of which the entire machine, like the bicycle, moves forward. Now, if we consider two wheels of a gear system, one to be a driving wheel. You remember the driving wheel is the wheel to which the effort is applied, and the other is the driven wheel, that is, which is connected with the load. So, we name the driving wheel as A and the driven wheel as B. So, tell me, what will be the velocity ratio of this gear system? We know all simple machines have a constant velocity ratio. So, velocity ratio is the displacement of the effort divided by displacement of the load. That is the speed of the effort divided by speed of the load. What is the speed of the effort in this case? The speed of the driving wheel, because here driving wheel or A is the effort divided by speed of the driven wheel or the driven gear, which is the load in this case. Now, if we consider in the bicycle case, the wheel which is connected with the pedal, that is the driving wheel because you apply effort on the pedals, and the wheel which is connected to the free wheel, that is the gears which are connected to the free wheel, is the driven wheel, that is which connects the entire load of the bicycle. So now the speed of the driving gear is basically the number of rotations per second of the driving gear. because speed of any rotating object is number of rotations per second, that is how much distance it moves per second. So the speed of the driving gear is number of rotation per second of the driving gear. Similarly, speed of the driven gear is number of rotations per second of the driven gear. Now, how do we find out these two terms? For any rotating objects, two speeds act simultaneously. First, the angular speed, and secondly, the linear speed. The angular speed of any rotating object is the rate at which the circular objects turn, and the linear speed is the speed at which a point on the edge of the object travels in a circular path. So angular speed considers the entire rotating object, whereas the linear speed considers a point on the rotating object and how far that point moves when the rotating object is moving in a circular path. Well, let's see an animation to understand what is angular speed and linear speed. See here, a point on the edge of the wheel when moving covers a distance equal to the circumference of the wheel. So, if we consider n to be the speed of rotation of the wheel, that is how many times it is rotating per minute, and r to be the radius of the wheel, then the angular speed would be 2 pi n, because after one rotation it is completing 2 pi, that is 360-degree angle, and if it rotates n time in 1 minute, then the angular speed will be 2 pi n, because it is moving 360-degree each time the wheel rotates. And the linear speed would be 2 pi n into the radius, that is angular speed into the radius of the wheel. Therefore, the linear speed would be 2 pi n r. So now that you know that every rotating object has an angular speed and a linear speed, let me tell you that in a gear system, when two wheels are connected to one another, their linear speed is always equal to one another. So the linear speed of the wheels are always equal. And also, the distance or the linear distance along the circumference of each tooth on the two wheels is same. That is, in the circular wheel, each tooth is placed equidistant to one another. Therefore, the linear distance along the circumference of each wheel for each tooth on the two wheel is same. So let us take the example of two wheels A and B and try to understand what will be their velocity ratio. So if this is wheel A and this is wheel B, let us consider the radius of the first wheel to be RA, that is the radius of the driving wheel A, and the radius of the driven wheel B will be RB. Now let us consider the number of teeth, that is these teeth on the surface of wheel A to be NA, capital NA, and the number of teeth on wheel B to be NB. So we just now studied that the linear distance along the circumference of each wheel for each tooth is same. That is, each and every tooth is placed equidistant to one another in both the wheels. So for each wheel, the linear distance will be 2 pi r by NA, because 2 pi r is the circumference, and n is the total number of teeth. So for each tooth, the linear distance will be 2 pi r divided by n. So for wheel A, the linear distance along the circumference for each tooth will be 2 pi RA divided by NA. Similarly, for wheel B, it will be 2 pi RB, that is the circumference of wheel B divided by total number of teeth on B, that is NB. So we can conclude that the ratio of RA by RB, that is the ratio of the radius of RA, that is the driving wheel, divided by the driven wheel, is equal to the ratio of the number of teeth on the driving wheel to the driven wheel. So RA by RB equal to NA by NB. So let's recapitulate angular speed. Angular speed, or omega, was found out to be 2 pi n, where n is the speed of rotation or number of time the gear wheels move per unit time. So if that is the case, then the speed of rotation n should be inversely proportional to the radius. See here, if we have two wheels, one of a smaller radius, then you can understand this will rotate faster per unit time than the bigger wheel. So speed of rotation, or n, is directly proportional to the radius. So smaller the radius of the gear wheel, faster it should move. So the velocity ratio is speed of the driving gear, that is speed of effort, divided by speed of the driven gear, that is speed of load. So if we consider the speed of rotation to be n, for the driving gear A, the speed of rotation would be NA. And for the driven gear B, the speed of rotation will be NB. So velocity ratio is the ratio of NA by NB. So we have just found out that the speed of rotation of any wheel is inversely proportional to the radius. So the speed of rotation of the driving wheel will be inversely proportional to its radius, that is RA. And the speed of rotation of the driven wheel will be inversely proportional to its radius, that is RB. So for simplicity, if we remove the proportionality constant, we can write that NA is equal to 1 by RA. Similarly, NB is equal to 1 by RB. So substituting these values in the velocity ratio, we can write NA by NB is equal to RB by RA. So the ratio of the speed of the driving gear to the speed of the driven gear is equal to a ratio of the radius of the driven gear to the driving gear. We had also found out that the ratio of the radius of the driven gear to the radius of the driving gear is equal to the number of teeth on the driven gear to the driving gear, because radius is directly proportional to the number of teeth. Bigger the radius, more will be the number of teeth. So we can write velocity ratio as NA by NB, or ratio of the speed of the driving gear to the speed of the driven gear is equal to the ratio of the radius of the driven to the driving gear, which is again equal to the number of teeth on the driven to the driving gear. Now this ratio, that is the number of teeth of the driven gear by the driving gear, is known as the gear ratio. And this entire expression is the fundamental principle of gear tooth action. So you can see we have deduced an expression for the velocity ratio in terms of the number of teeth on the driving and the driven gear, because the number of teeth is much easier to calculate than the radius and the speed of rotation. So the gear ratio can be written as the number of teeth in the driven wheel, or NB, divided by the number of teeth in the driving wheel, or NA. So let us see three situations in which the number of teeth of the driving gear and the driven gear differs from one another. In the first case, we have A, the driving gear, and B, the driven gear. Here, both of them have equal number of teeth. So suppose we give power to the driving gear and it rotates the driven gear. So one full rotation of A will move B through again one rotation. So there is no gain in speed when both the gears have equal number of teeth. But suppose the driving gear has lesser number of teeth than the driven gear. Suppose A has 16 teeth and B has 32 teeth. So when A rotates through one rotation, The gear B needs to rotate through half rotation in order to match the speed, because both of them have the linear speed which are equal. So when a driving wheel having 16 teeth will move through one rotation, the driven wheel will move through half a rotation. Therefore, when a driving wheel has lesser number of teeth than a driven wheel, the driven wheel loses speed. So here the gear B loses speed of rotation. But suppose the driving wheel has more number of teeth. Suppose it has 32 teeth. Whereas the driven wheel has lesser number of teeth, suppose 16. So when driving wheel moves through one rotation, in order to match the linear speed, the driven wheel will move through two rotation. So when we are adding effort to the driving wheel, it is moving the driven wheel 2 times. So the driven wheel is gaining speed. So when the driven wheel has a smaller radius and lesser number of teeth than the driving wheel, the driven wheel gains speed. This is the principle which was used by the cyclist in order to win the race. What he did, he changed the arrangement of the cycle chain from a gear of a bigger radii to a gear of a smaller radii which had lesser number of teeth, as a result of which he gained speed and he won the race. So this is how the cycle chain got shifted from a gear of a bigger wheel to a gear of a smaller wheel. See this animation again, from a bigger wheel to a smaller wheel having lesser number of teeth. This is how the cyclist moved forward and he gained speed than his competitor.